Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Thursday 4 p.m. class. I have our online director who has joined us, Miss April Austin. So she's going to introduce herself to you all.
Hi, everyone. So nice to see all of you on this wonderful Thursday afternoon. I've heard some wonderful things about you guys from Miss Crystal. As a matter of fact, this morning we were talking about this classes and the students and how things are going. But I do recall some of you, I remember seeing Ashley before, but my role here is to just run everything, right? Run operations and make sure that everything is everything, right? And just to make sure that things are running smoothly and that what you signed up for actually is happening. We're preparing for graduation as well in October, and then next year we're preparing for you guys' certification. So lots of things go on in the back end here while you guys are studying hard and just making things happen, right? So I do know that you guys are in great hands with Miss Crystal. Miss Crystal is absolutely wonderful. Remember that communication, guys. Communication is the key. No matter how minute you may think it is, it's very important that you communicate with us. That way we can make sure that you are successful in what you signed up for, right? You gotta meet us halfway. You gotta meet us halfway. But I just wanted to come on and say hello. I don't get a chance to do this too often, but hello to you guys. I hope that you guys have a rocking Thursday and a wonderful upcoming weekend. And I'll see you guys again soon.
Thank you, Miss April.
Absolutely. Y'all guys have a great session.
All right, thank you. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm about to share my screen with you all. Let's see what's going on. There we go. Okay, so again, welcome. Today is the first day in our new module. Today is the first day in module 153, Introduction to CPT. So CPT is the new manual that you all have. We're no longer in ICD-10 now, we're in CPT. CPT is another big book, but not as big as the ICD-10 manual. So we're still in the same book as the same textbook and the same workbook. We'll be in that book until I think it's like chapter 11. So please just make sure that you're checking everything in your Google Classroom. Make sure that I sent a video for you all to review on how to tab your CPT manual. So make sure you get that. We're not actually going to start coding right now, but I want you all to be able to go through the CPT manual when you're reading this chapter to see like what's important and how to locate those things in your CPT manual. So we're going to go ahead and get started. It says chapter 8, Introduction to CPT. So, Misty, can you mute yourself? Thank you. So the chapter topics. So what's going to be covered in this chapter, in chapter 8, is the purpose of the CPT manual, updating the CPT manual, the CPT manual format, starting with the index, just as you did in the ICD-10, you always want to start in the index and then go on to your tabular. General rules and your chapter review. Chapter 8 is really short. Your learning objectives that we're going to cover today is identify the uses of the CPT manual, name the developers of the CPT manual, know the importance of using the current year CPT manual, and identify placement of CPT codes on the CMS 1500 insurance form. I also sent that to you all as an attachment. I sent the instructions on how to complete the CMS 1500 form. The CMS form will be on your exam for chapter 8. The CMS 1500 form will be on your exam for chapter 8. So I sent you the instructions on step-by-step on how to fill out that form. And you will be able, I'm gonna send out some scenarios where you'll be able to get information and share with your partner, like switch with each other on completing that CMS 1500 form. So we're only going to go through the first 4 objectives on today. You only have 2 days in this module for today. On Monday, it would be day 3 of 30. There are 30 days in this module for 153. So this is important for you all to know as well. Some of the CPT code descriptions for physician services include physician extender services. So extender services are physician nurse practitioners, physician assistants, and nurse anesthesists, etc. Provide medical services typically performed by a physician. Within this educational material, the term physician may include and other qualified healthcare professionals. So that's important to know when you're coding as well. Depending on the code, refer to the official CPT code descriptions and guidelines to determine codes that are appropriate to report services provided by non-physician practitioners. The purpose of the CPT manual. And when you get ready to do that exercise 8.1, all of that information is what we're going to cover before we get to that exercise. So make sure you're reading and paying attention. I also attached your PowerPoint slides in your Google Classroom. So make sure that you look at your Chapter 8 PowerPoint slides as well. The purpose of the CPT manual. First thing you need to know, what does CPT stand for? Current procedural terminology. You're going to be asked that throughout all of the chapters. That is definitely on your national certification exam. They're going to ask you, it's going to be, it's alpha and coding, but they're going to have that everything is, I'm trying to think of what it was, multiple choice. So everything is going to be multiple choice. So they're going to have different terminology used as well, but you're going to need to know, what does ICD-10 stand for? What does CPT stand for? What does HCPC stand for? What does EM stand for, which is evaluation and management? You're going to have to know what those terms stand for, but it's also still going to be multiple choice. So CPT manual, the purpose of it, current procedural terminology, also known as CPT-4, is a coding system developed by the American Medical Association, AMA. That's already 2 of your answers in your exercise. So if you're reading, no one should have those answers, those questions incorrect. CPT, current procedural terminology, and who was developed? It was developed by the American Medical Association, AMA, to convert widely accepted uniform descriptions of medical, surgical, and diagnostic services. Remember, CPT was widely accepted uniform descriptions of medical, surgical, and diagnostic services rendered by healthcare providers into 5-digit numeric codes. 5-digit numeric codes. The use of the CPT codes enables healthcare providers to communicate both effectively and efficiently with third-party payers. Examples: commercial insurance companies, Medicare, Medicaid, about the procedures and services provided to the patient. For an example, on an insurance form, you can report a service by entering 21182 rather than reconstruction of auditable walls, rims, forehead, nasogenoid complex following intra. So the codes breaks down all of that. You don't have to enter all of that stuff. Nasal ethmoid. You don't have to enter that. There's a code for that. So when you look up that code would be 21182, rather than writing out the whole scenario. Next, it says, the majority of CPT codes are referred to as Category 1 codes. The majority of CPT codes are referred to as Category 1 codes and have been approved by the editorial panel of the AMA. Category 2 codes are optional performance measures, and they have here screening, mammography. Category 3 codes are temporary codes that identify emerging technology services and procedures. Examples: total disc, arthroplasty. So remember, you have Category 1, Category 2, and Category 3 codes. Healthcare providers are reimbursed for the procedures and services rendered based on the code submitted on a claim form. So it is very important that you practice using that CMS 1500 claim form. You will be given that on your exam, and that form is also on your certification exam. So practice with each other in your groups, taking turns on filling out and completing the form. Everything that you do has to be submitted on that CMS 1500 form. As noted in Chapter 2, more than 95% of claims are filed electronically using the 5010 claim format required under HIPAA. Examples of the 5010 format can be seen in Figure D1 through D8. It's also located in Appendix D. For an example of placement of the CPT codes on the CMS 1500 insurance claim form, refer to Figure 8.1. I have attached that for you all to look at the instructions on how to complete it as well. This is in your book, the CMS 1500 form. This is how everything is billed using the CMS 1500 form. And it's showing you here, Figure 8.1, the CMS 1500 health insurance claim form. Reporting the correct code is essential because incorrect coding can result in a provider being reimbursed incorrectly, or in some cases being penalized by the government for submitting inappropriate claims. The CPT coding system is used by clinics, outpatient hospital departments, ambulatory surgery centers, and third-party payers to describe healthcare services. Although there are no differences in the rules governing coding in various healthcare settings, CPT codes offer increased compatibility and comparability of data among users and providers, allowing for comparative analysis, research, and reimbursement. The CPT coding system was first developed and published by the AMA in 1966 as a method of reporting medical and surgical procedures and services using standard terminology. 3 editions of current procedural terminology were published in the 1970s, and updates and revisions reflected changes in the technology and practices of healthcare. Use of the CPT manual was increased in 1983 when the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, formerly the Healthcare Finance and Administration, HCFA, incorporated CPT codes into the Healthcare Common Procedural Coding System. HCPCS, Healthcare Common Procedural Coding Systems. That is what HCPCS stands for, to provide a uniform system of reporting services, procedures, and supplies. So remember, you're going to use your HCPCS codes to report services, procedures, and supplies. CPT codes are level 1 codes and are, for the most part, defined professional services. Level 2 national codes, HCPCS, are alphanumeric codes that are used by providers to report services, supplies, and equipment. So make sure you know the differences on when it's a CPT, when are you using HCPCS. Level 2, national codes. HCPCS are alphanumeric codes that are used by providers to report services, supplies, and equipment provided to Medicare and Medicaid patients for which no CPT code exists. So remember, no CPT code exists, so you're going to use a HCPCS code, which reports services, supplies, and equipment. HCPCS level 2 codes may be required even if a CPT level 1 is available. Some third-party payers follow Medicare and Medicaid guidelines and may also require HCPCS level 2 codes be assigned, example, G codes. Thus, HCPCS may be required on non-Medicare and Medicaid patients. Also, certain HCPCS level 2 codes are required by all payers, such as the drug codes, J codes. So quite a bit, a majority of your drug codes are J codes. So those are little helpful hints. So you know when something is pertaining to a drug, you're most likely going to use a J code. Any questions so far? Okay, updating the CPT manual. Because the practice of medicine is ever changing, the CPT manual is ever changing. It is updated annually. This is on your exam. It is updated annually to reflect technological advances and editorial revisions. It is very important to use the most current CPT manual available so as to provide quality data and ensure appropriate reimbursement. So your CPT manual is updated annually. Many revisions to the CPT were necessary to address requirements of the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, which is HIPAA. HIPAA requires the Secretary of Health and Human Services to adopt national uniform standards for the electronic transmission of financial and administrative health insurance. These standards include a wide variety of healthcare information. One item that HIPAA requires is a common, concise coding system with clear, expandable definitions. The AMA is meeting this requirement by continuing to make the code definitions more precise. So, updated editions of the CPT manual are available for purchase in November. So remember, updates are done annually. Updated editions of the CPT manual are available for purchase in November for use beginning the following January 1. So they're updated for revision in November for use the following January 1. The American Medical Association, AMA, has a website. So if you want to check all of that out, there's the website. So let's see if we were paying attention, or we did this assignment already. The CPT manual was developed by
the AMA.
Correct. By the AMA. CPT stands for
Current procedural terminology.
correct. Providers of healthcare are paid based on the code submitted for blank or procedures provided to the patient.
Services.
Correct. The first CPT was published in this year. So if you go back to what we read at the top.
1966.
Yes. Correct. And then next. So remember, when you're doing your questions, your answers are right before you get to that exercise. In which year were CPT codes incorporated as level 1 codes into the healthcare procedure coding system, HCPCS? In which year were CPT codes incorporated as level 1 codes into the healthcare procedure coding system, HCPCS? We just went over that part. When we go up here, it's right. So you go back and look at it. Which year?
Is it 1970?
Look at 1970. It says the 3 editions of current procedure term were published in the 1970s, and updates and revisions reflected changes in the technology and practice of healthcare. So not 1970. And remember, they have updates every year.
Is it 1983?
Yes, 1983. Great. So no one should have any of those answers incorrect, because that was your assignment, your daily assignment. So if anyone has one of those wrong, I know that you didn't watch the lecture if you're not on here. So that's why it's important to watch your lecture for Zoom class, so it will help you, and you'll also be able to make any corrections. So this is very important to know as well, the CPT manual format. The symbols used in the CPT manual are noted on the bottom of each page in the manual, along with a short description of the symbol. So remember, all of your symbols, they say that it's located on the bottom of the page. The symbols used in the CPT manual are noted on the bottom of each page in the manual, along with a short description of the symbol. In the CPT manual, new codes are identified by the bullet. So a new code is identified by the bullet symbol that is placed in front of the code. Note the location of this symbol. So if it's a new code, they're going to have a bullet placed in front of the code. You will have a symbol test. So make sure you're reading and paying attention to the symbols. So a new code is a bullet in front of the code. And it tells you right here, new CPT code symbol. Here's the bullet. Exchange of a previously placed, I don't have on my glasses, I'm sorry. Let me put on my glasses so I can read what it's saying. So exchange of a previously placed arterial catheter during thrombolytic therapy. Exchange of a previously placed arterial catheter during the thrombolytic therapy. So This was an exchange. So this is a new code that they're using now. Important symbols and appendices. A triangle placed in front of a code indicates that the description for the code has been changed or modified since the previous edition. Changes may be additions, deletions, or revisions in code descriptions. So if you see a triangle in front of a code, there has been a change or modification. So they're showing you change CPT code symbol. When the text has changed, a right and a left triangle indicate the beginning and end of the text changes as illustrated in figure 8.4. Change CPT text symbols. So it's going to be a left or a right. So we're going to go right over this one more time. The symbols used in the CPT manual are noted on the bottom of each page in the manual, along with a short description of the symbol. In the CPT manual, new codes are identified by the bullet that is placed in front of the code. Note the location of this symbol. It's in front of the code. That's for a new code. A triangle placed in front of a code indicates that the description for the code has been changed or modified since the previous edition. Changes may be additions, deletions, or revisions in code descriptions. When the text has changed, a right and a left triangle indicate the beginning and end of the text changes as illustrated in figure 8.4. Quick check 8.1. Symbols with definitions are located at the bottom of the page in the CPT manual. True or false?
True.
That is true. We just went over that. That is true.
Sorry, I came in halfway.
That's okay. Appendix A. So in Appendix A, if you have your manual, can you look at Appendix A? And this is going to be very helpful for you all. Appendix A lists all modifiers that are used to alter or modify codes. And if you look in the front of that textbook, on the cover, when you open it up, you should have all of your modifiers. In the front cover, when you open that front cover, you're going to see all of your modifiers. So you should never go wrong when you're looking for it. You just have to look at those descriptions. Do you all see it in the front cover? That's every modifier. And then, like they say in Appendix A, that's the list all modifiers that are used to alter or modify codes. So you have to, if you have to alter or modify a code, you're going to look in Appendix A. In Appendix B of the CPT manual, look in Appendix B, if you have your manual. Appendix B of the CPT manual contains a complete list of the additions to, deletions from, and revisions of the CPT manual. When a code is listed in Appendix B, the type of change is also listed. So, know what appendix to look in when you're getting ready to code. Appendix A lists all modifiers that are used to alter or modify codes. Modifiers will be discussed in detail later in the chapter and in greater detail in chapter 10, because in chapter 10 it's completely all modifiers. Appendix B of the CPT manual contains a complete list of the additions to, deletions from, and revisions of the CPT manual. When a code is listed in Appendix B, the type of change is also listed. And it's showing you right here. In figure 8.5, CPT manual Appendix B showing types of changes. So it's showing you here and it's saying the deletion, and then here, the revisions, and then the additions. So this changed from 45170 to 46275, and then it added 57426. So the code was completely changed. Appendix C of the CPT manual. Turn to Appendix C. Appendix C of the CPT manual contains clinical examples of many of the evaluation and management codes. Evaluation and management codes, that's EM codes. That's the abbreviation, EM, for evaluation and management. And it shows here, office or other outpatient services. The first says anesthesiology. Then you have clinical examples by specialty area. Anesthesiology, pain medicine. Then at the bottom, ophthalmology. It says figure 8.6, Appendix C of the CPT manual contains clinical examples in the use of evaluation and management codes. The examples in Appendix C are meant to offer a broad idea of the type of presenting problem that each code could represent. But a word of caution, only the patient's record and the services rendered by the physician to a patient determine the level of services provided. Appendix C is not meant to be an exhaustive list of EM services. So we're going to stop at D. Appendix D is the CPT manual list all add-on codes. The plus symbol placed in front of a code indicates an add-on code. Appendix D in the CPT manual lists all add-on codes. The plus symbol placed in front of a code indicates an add-on code. And it's showing you here, figure 8.7, add-on CPT code symbol.
Okay.
And it tells you add-on codes are never used alone. So that's why it's saying an add-on code. So an add-on code is never used alone. Rather, they are reported with another primary procedure or service code. For example, code 11,000 describes a debridement, removal of contaminated tissue of up to 10% of the body surface. Add-on code 11,001 is reported for each additional 10% of the body surface debrided or part thereof. So in here, you're going to see on how you have to use add-on codes when it says a certain percentage. So if it's 10% of the body, 20% of the body, 30% of the body, you're going to use add-on codes for the percentages.
So is that every 10%?
I'm sorry, I missed that, Misty.
Is that every 10% of the body that we do an add-on?
No, it depends on what's in that patient's chart. It might be 5%, but that code might say up to 8% or
Okay.
up to 9%. So you would have to use an add-on code.
Okay.
Code 11,001 cannot be reported unless code 11,000 is reported first. So this goes back when I told you about sequencing, how what has to be done first before you can put another code, not putting that other code in front of. So it says code 11,001 cannot be reported unless code 11,000 is reported first. Also notice in figure 8.7 that there is a note in parentheses that indicates that code 11,001 can be used only in conjunction with code 11,000. So you're going to have notes. You're going to have, reference to explain to you what you need to do. So it says, also notice in figure 8.7, let me go back up to figure 8.7. And it's showing you in parentheses. It says use 11,001 in conjunction with 11,000. So make sure you're reading all the notes that they're showing you, because this is going to assist you with what you need to code first. So we're stopping at Appendix D. I want you all to review what we have gone over. Again, everyone should have exercise 8.1 and quick check 1, which I didn't assign to you all, correct? It's important to know when these changes took place, the years. It's important to know the information that's in parentheses. It's important to know the symbols. If you know those symbols, it's going to really help out a lot. So you know if it's a bullet, what is it? If it's a bullet, what is it? A bullet stands for what?
A new code?
Correct, a new code. A triangle stands for what?
Change or modified code.
Correct. Parentheses means what? I can't hear you, Ashley.
Oh, I said I don't remember.
We just did the parentheses.
I don't know. I'm zoned out, I guess.
Remember, what does parentheses? We just went over that. It says right here, what does it say for parentheses? Also notice in figure 8.7 that there is a note in parentheses that indicates that code 11,001 can be used only in conjunction with code 11,000. So in parentheses, they're going to tell you what you need to do, what's additional on what you would need to do. What's the left and right symbol?
That shows like what words have changed.
Yes.
Or information has changed.
Right. The text changed, correct. It says when the text has changed, a right and a left triangle indicate the beginning and end of the text changes, as illustrated in figure 8.4. So make sure that you all review, make sure that you look at the information that's on that front cover when you open your CPT manual. Read over that information in the front cover. Remember that you can get you have the tabs in your CPT manual. So all tabs are in your CPT manual. The extra tab that you might have left, that's for you to place if you want additional tabs, like in your medicine section for different little parts. If you want to use a tab, you can use that to separate. But I also attached a video on how to tab your CPT manual. So if you haven't done so already, please go back and review that video that I posted on how to tab your CPT manual. Please make sure that in your groups that you're practicing with each other on how to complete that CMS 1500 form. I also attached your PowerPoint slides for chapter 8. You also have for your assignment, you have a pre-test for chapter 8. That is done. You need to have that completed by Sunday. That's your lab. And you're being graded on that as well. So if you have not completed all of your assignments in module 152, Please make sure that you complete those assignments. I have to have all grades turned in by Friday, 5 p.m. Everything, I have to have all of your assignments, everything, your exam. I have quite a few people who did not complete their exam on last night. It was due by 11:55 p.m. So if you still need some additional time, please let me know, because I have to have grades turned in by Friday, 5 p.m. So please make sure you go in and complete all assignments, all labs. If you need to email it to me, please do so. Whatever it takes, whatever you need to do, email, put it in your Google Classroom, whatever you need to do, try to get everything updated so that you can improve your grade. Any questions or concerns? Anybody have any questions? Remember, today is the first day in a new module. We're still working in Google Classroom at this time. They're still extracting everything from e-learning to put into the new program we'll be using, which is Moodle. We'll be moving to Moodle, but they're still extracting everything out of e-learning. So remember, as of right now, your exams will be given in the e-learning platform. Your pre-test, I'm putting in your Google Classroom, but your exams will be provided to you in the e-learning, and I'll post that for you all. I'll send that in Google Class as an announcement where the exams will be taken. Any questions or concerns? Everybody is okay? Let me stop sharing my screen so I can see who's
I think I kind of got the gist of it. It's just, I wish I could have listened more, but I had customers coming in left and right, so.
So it's recorded, so you'll be able to go back and look at it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you all can mark down your 10 points for today. Make sure you're keeping account of your points you're receiving. Make sure to, write them down, send them to me when you want it added to an assignment. Today, you are receiving 10 additional points. Keep track of your points, please. I will be posting this link shortly once it converts. And you all have a great and wonderful weekend. Remember, your lab is due on Sunday. And I will see you all next Tuesday for 7 p.m. You all enjoy your weekend and stay safe. Bye-bye.